Growing up, a lot of what I heard about politics was just like on the news, like adults yelling over each other, like my parents saying like, oh, people who believe these things aren't thinking the right thing, and having this understanding that like politics like made people argue, and I think that scared me as a kid. Being one of the only like people of color in the class that I was in when I was younger, I kind of just had always kind of felt this kind of like otherness. Whenever certain political topics were brought up, I think the response from a lot of kids my age was like, oh, that's a taboo thing. We're not supposed to talk about that. We're not supposed to have a conversation about that. I felt very isolated by it because if you talk about politics, if you talk about race, if you talk about these issues, then suddenly it becomes really obvious that like I'm a part of like this perceived problem. I came to the ACLU Summer Institute because I know that meeting and talking to other young people who really care about politics is really important in creating change and creating the future that I want to live in. And I think that young people are the beginning to that. Seeing it's not just you and maybe not just people at your school who care, but kids from 49 other states who care, and kids from around the country care, and kids who live lives extremely different than yours also care about this big collective thing that's really important. And I think that it just really makes you feel hopeful to look around and see people who have this same goal, which is to make the world a safer and better place for everyone.
This experience has been such a blessing to me because I feel like when you are in the social activist community, it's really easy to think that you've learned all that you can. This experience has taught me that there's still so much that I have yet to find out.
Everything from LGBT protection to national security to voting rights. You got an introduction to the substance of core civil liberties and civil rights issues that folks at the ACLU work on each and every day.
I am a proud and unapologetic Muslim American and first-generation American and a child of immigrants.
Injustice, the violation of Americans' rights is the rights of people around the world.
If you fail your third grade comprehension test, they automatically build you a prison in Florida. So you're learning at third grade that I'm gonna be in prison by the time I grow up.
In my America, love wins, Black Lives Matter, and diversity is celebrating.
The ideas that you have expressed during this institute are at the core of our nation's debates about the meaning of democracy, justice, and equal liberty. And your ideas have the power to transform not just the laws and institutions, but the very fabric of our society, the ways that we speak to each other, the ways we speak about each other, and the ways we view each other.
Politics is a really big part of understanding not just who you are, but what that means in the context of the country you live in and the world you live in. So I think not just learning about these things and learning about why they're important, how they work, but knowing that once I go home, I can take them back to communities like my school and being able to be proactive and productive. I think that's what's most exciting about it.
What I hope this does is pull together some of the strands that you've picked up over the course of the week and help you figure out a plan for what to do when you go back home. This is all about figuring out how to change the world one small step at a time.
Being political is something, in a way, that everyone is, and I think that politics affect everyone in some way, and I think that taking the time to understand why and understand how, I think is taking kind of responsibility for the world around them. And that's something that's really important because I feel like political people who are willing to have those conversations, are the people who ultimately are giving themselves the power to make the world a better place.